quite working. But welcome to another South Florida Tech Talk. This is just like TED Talks, a 15-minute conversation about technology with some question and answers from our community. We typically do these in person. Obviously, with COVID-19, we're doing these all virtual. So thank you very much for those who are tuning in. This is, of course, a program of the Palm Beach Tech Association, and our mission is to build South Florida into a tech hub. We are a nonprofit organization. We exist with over 170 members and represent over 8,000 technology professionals in the South Florida area. Some of our members you might recognize. We have big brands that are giving you power and electricity like NextAir Energy, Office Depot, on down to some homegrown companies like DSS and Modernizing Medicine. If this is your first time checking out Tech Talk online with us and you want to learn more, you can join us on Slack. You can also text your email or go to our website at palmbeachtech.org to sign up to learn more. And a very simple statement that we talk about at every event we do is our community creed. And it states Palm Beach Tech is wholeheartedly committed to building a welcoming, collaborative, and inclusive community for all. We're here for everyone, so thank you so much for tuning in. With that, I'm going to introduce our guest speaker here today. Her name is Cristina Escalante. She is the COO of The SilverLogic, one of our member companies down in Boca Raton. They do custom software development. And she's going to be talking about one of her little personal projects, analyzing campaign contributions with Neo4j. Cristina and I are both a little bit political nerds. We love serving and being part of our community and also understanding the politics that help drive that community engagement. And she's going to be talking about the data behind all of that. So how do we look at campaign contributions and look at those around us while we're doing that? So Cristina, thank you very much for joining us today, and you may take it away.
Thank you. So just as a clerical thing, nobody can ask questions, right? Or if they do, I'll have no way to look at them.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be collecting questions online, and anybody who's asking, I'll feed them directly to you.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Share. Oh, wait, hold on. I have to. Update my system preferences.
Screen share having a problem there?
Okay, you can see my screen now, right? There's a lot of stuff.
Yes.
All right. All right, so I made a I'll just put this over here. Okay, so thank you. My name is Cristina, like Joe said, and this is a presentation about analyzing political campaign contributions with Neo4j. And we'll get into what Neo4j is in a couple slides. So first, what's this presentation about? There's a whole lot of data that in Florida we're lucky to have access to about how people spend money in political campaigns. There's a lot of money that's spent that isn't reported to the state, but obviously we don't have access to that. So we're going to be using the database that the state collects and lets us use and inspect in order to keep, compliant with sunshine laws. This presentation will take the point of view of a candidate or a fundraiser or a campaign manager who wants to learn more, to have recommended to him or her people that would be interested in his message or her message that they might not know about. So like a novice political candidate who doesn't have a bunch of relationships yet, but does know enough people that they can start a campaign. And conversely, on the other side, if you're somebody interested in donating or contributing to a candidate or a group of people, like a PAC interested in contributing to a candidate, you already know the people that you know. You might want to find more people that you don't know about that might share your values that you could also donate to. So about me, I spent a lot of time growing up in South Florida. I went to Stoneman Douglas. After that, I did my undergraduate at Johns Hopkins and then my master's at FAU. I work for the SilverLogic. We were born in 2012 and we've been growing ever since. All right, so first introducing the Florida contributions data. This is what it looks like. I chose the geo group as an example to show that when people are, or in this case, a company and a PAC, both associated with the geo group, are contributing money, they can choose to spell their name in a variety of different ways. So you can see it says the Geo Group Inc. PAC with no period, the Geo Group Inc. period space Political Action Committee, and all sorts of different variations of Political Action Committee. And in the address section, you can see that you can list your address in however many ways you want. You can add commas, take commas out, spell out street. You just use ST with a period, put in your suite number. So somebody who's going through all this data is going to really struggle to find out exactly how much whoever's at 621 Northwest 53rd Street, Boca Raton, Florida, actually donated, just because there's so many different ways to show an address. And by not picking on the geo group, they spend a lot. So there's a whole lot of opportunity for them to write their address however many different ways they want. Here's another, this is AT&T, another big spender. They write their name in a variety of different ways, and not visible here, they also have like different offices like AT&T South Florida that has a whole bunch of permutations of their names, and they have, unlike Geo Group, a variety of offices that they can contribute from. So if somebody's interested in seeing what AT&T is doing, it gets a lot more complicated than just typing in AT&T and seeing how much they spent. Not that much more complicated, but just a little bit. And you can also see that if you're contributing, there's a lot of people that contribute and they don't put in their contact information. They just put in, I don't know what they put in originally, but star is perfectly acceptable. All right, so what I did with this data, if we hop over to the actual Department of State website, I essentially downloaded all of this data. Here's an example candidate. He's currently a state house rep in Palm Beach County. You can choose when you're looking at this data to either have it feed right into this web UI, or if you pick this here, you can choose to have it returned as a tab delimited text file. And then if you hit submit, you put in what information you're looking for. It says somebody forgot to remove a series of A's here. You can get the information in a tab delimited text file, and from there you can put it into an Excel spreadsheet. You could put it into whatever database you want, and the one that I wanted to use for this example is Neo4j. And just as a quick little detour, since it's not in my presentation, I'm going to borrow one of the Neo4j ones. Neo4j is a graph database. So unlike a relational database, which is like a series of spreadsheets tied together, this one's more like a bunch of balls on strings. And if you're looking at the recommended products on Amazon, they use something similar to this to try to get people to show them products that they would like, that they haven't yet purchased based on their existing purchase history. So if let's see, me and Joe are going to a restaurant and we both always get fries, and Joe gets a Caesar salad and I always get a house salad, it's likely that we both are also okay with each other's salads since we have enough shared taste that we both buy the same French fries. We might prefer our type of salad, but we'd probably be interested in the other salad too. If me and let's say Nikki and Joe all go to the restaurant and Nikki neither eats a salad nor French fries, then it's a little less likely that I will like something that Nikki likes or Joe will like something that Nikki likes. It's certainly possible, but it's just a little less likely. So that's sort of the philosophy that I'm going to use in this presentation. All right, so going back to the presentation, I loaded all the data that we just saw into a Neo4j database. And before you load something up, you need to model it. So this is what it looks like. I made a model contributor, a contribution, and a candidate. So the contributor is essentially just somebody's first and last name. People move around, they might get married, change their name. So it's not perfect, but it's what we have. In the contribution is how much was contributed, an address, because that's usually like you can make a contribution you with the same name in one city, the next year you move to another city, it's still you, but your contribution now belongs to the new address. So the contribution has the city, your address, the amount, and then the candidate, of course, is the person or campaign or PAC who received your contribution. So that this is I put in little arrows, little dollars behind it. I know it's hideous, but PowerPoints are sort of boring. So this is me trying to spice it up, showing how everything is connected with US dollars. All right, so let's see some recommendations. So I put names on people. Now we have Karen. Karen's not she's the green candidate, not the red candidate. And Karen, she's already has a contributor, a couple contributors, but what other contributors could she be going after? If we go down the arrows, you can go down, hop from Karen to contribution to Stephanie, then say, well, who else does Stephanie contributes to Karen? Who else does Stephanie contribute to? And then you go up, she contributes to Bob. Maybe Jamal, also a Bob contributor, would be interested in Karen. Maybe not, but if you're looking for more contributors, it doesn't hurt to send them a mailer, as opposed to sending a mailer over to Stacy, who's never contributed to Karen or Bob. Seems a little less likely than Jamal. Okay, so I'm going to use some real life examples. If you go to the Department of State website, you can see who's running for federal office. The data for federal campaigns is stored in a federal database, not the state database. So if I'm either Mike Velarde on top or Guido Weiss at the bottom, and I'm running for office, I can see who's donated to other federal candidates, but there's a whole world of local campaign contributions that I might not think to look at just because they don't end up in the database that I care about, because I'm focusing on going to DC and whatever it is people say about going to DC. I'm not thinking I'm going to Tallahassee. So let's look a little bit closer at Guido and Michael. So let's do Guido first. So Guido, this is his website, Democrat for Congress, Palm Beach County. And because I've looked at his site, I know that he's a progressive. And based on that information, I picked out who's going to be a candidate that's similar enough to Guido for Guido to be interested in people that either contribute to Guido or people that are like people that contribute to Guido. I picked Omari Hardy. He's running for State House. He's was or currently is a commissioner in Lake Worth. And he, I think, is a progressive. It seems to be. So I picked somebody who was somewhat similar, same party. Similarly, here's Michael Velarde's website. He's a Republican running for Congress. If you look here on his website, he's an accountant. Guess who also is an accountant? Mike Caruso, Republican. He's a State House representative, and his offices are in Boca Raton. So these are this is a Palm Beach County rep, Palm Beach County commissioner, and they're both running for election, or this one for re-election. So that means that they're both here in the campaign finance database. So Caruso's in here. We can search for him real quick. Oh, whoops. Don't want to download. Here are a bunch of donations to him, or contributions, I'm sorry. And similarly, we got Hardy. Omari Hardy also has a whole bunch of contributions. Obviously, Guido could look at these and start sending mailers to all these people. And Velarde could look at Caruso's and start sending mailers, but that's easy. I'm sure they've already thought of doing that. What else can they do? So that's where Neo4j comes in. Oops. All right, so here I put in, let's just look at this model in real life. I have a whole bunch of candidates. It looks really cute. You can see all the candidates that I scraped the past 2 years, or so it's like 2019, 2020. I don't know if I got 2018. And if I click here, these are a whole bunch of contributions to whoever this is, Kenneth Patrick Hassett. And here you can see the contributor. And if you I guess he hasn't contributed very much. Let me find a different one. All right, so here's one. Here's somebody who contributes a lot. This one has contributed multiple times to this candidate and has made some contributions to this other candidate. So like in the keynote, if I'm this candidate, I might be interested in looking at whoever this candidate is and see if we have any similarities. So we can go, so I can take advantage of them, send them a mailer and ask them to give me money or call them on the phone. All right, so let's look closer. Let's pretend that we're the Guido Weiss campaign, and we're really interested in people that are similar to the type of people that contribute to Omari Hardy. So first I want to find who contributes to Omari Hardy. So I've already gone and there we go. And found these people. These are people that have contributed to Omari Hardy. This is great, but it's already on the big list on the Department of State website. So I'm going to find some potential contributors. These are people that haven't donated, that haven't contributed to Omari Hardy, but are very similar to them. So here I put in this big query, and if we read it, these are people that have contributed to Hardy. This matches the people that have contributed to Hardy with the people that have contributed to candidates that have contributed to Hardy, but aren't the same people. So let me do that. And you get a whole bunch of potential contributors like this lady, and you can see how many candidates this particular contributor shares in common with the Omari Hardy pool of contributors. And I signified here with rank. And similarly for Caruso similar people, just change that here, and they have not contributed to Caruso. You can see a different group. There's a little bit of difference. Omari seems to have less PACs than Caruso. Not that there's anything wrong, good or bad about that. But if I am, with that knowledge, if I'm Michael Velarde, I might want to look closer at PACs if I'm interested in getting more money. And if I'm Guido Weiss, I might not look so closely at PACs. So now let's, Neo4j comes with some apps. Let me open that up. Let's look at the Caruso contributions on a map. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, whoops. Obviously it's not gonna work because I want it to work at this time. All right. So here's my Caruso map. Why are you not working? Oh, okay. Contact the development team. Well, so much for that plan.
You're bound to run into a tech problem on a tech presentation.
I practiced this like literally 20 minutes ago. Let me try this. Oh, I know why. I was picking something without an address on it. Okay, so all right, so this is unlike my narrative. These are up to 1,000 contributors from this map, and I was just picking the wrong thing. So let's say that I'm a potential. I even type what it is. It's potential with an A. So I'm a potential Caruso contributor. All right. So let's say I am Mike Velarde. If there's something this far away, for all I know, this might be Mike Caruso's personal friend who's definitely not going to be donating to anybody else. They're just doing this as a favor to their personal friend, Mike, unless it's a PAC, right? Because PACs, they don't have personal friends. They're groups of people. So we can also filter for PACs. Ta-da. So here it gets a lot more closer. You can see this is all more Florida based, except for whatever for this guy and this guy. And let's say, let me copy my query over. So So what packs am I going after if I'm Michael Velarde, interested in contributors that might contribute to somebody like Caruso, and it's a pack. So there's a People's Trust pack, Committee of Florida Agents, whoever these are, the Doctors Company Florida pack, and oh no, wait, this is Hardy. And let's do Caruso now. All right, so this is in the Hardy example, there's a whole lot of people and committee, Florida agents. And in the Caruso crowd, again, lots of things called people, next era, lots of teeth-based things, another power company. So it's a slightly different crowd of packs that I might want to go after if I'm interested in people that contribute similarly to the people that contribute to Caruso. So let's bounce back to the little map. All right, so this is potential Caruso packs. And now let's go to Hardy packs. A lot fewer. So you might get less bang for your buck or more, who knows? I've never run for office, so I wouldn't know. All right, so that's all of this took very little time to do. You can see you get some pretty good results. When I showed this to somebody first, the main question was, but can you get their phone numbers? I want their phone numbers. The answer is no, because the phone numbers don't go in with your contribution. But if you are already running for office, I'm pretty sure you can find these phone numbers or have somebody sell them to you. Now let's say that I'm one of these PACs and I want to find candidates that I might be interested in supporting or investing in, as they say, that I might not know about. Maybe I want to reach out. So pick this guy. This takes a little bit. So this is Florida Podiatry Political Committee. So I know nothing about podiatry. Oh, whoops. So these are some. All right, so I wanted to see if, since when I was poking around with this, I wanted to see if candidates that Florida Podiatry Political Committee was interested in contributing to, if they were be more of one party to the other. So to just walk you through the query, this is a path of contributors from the, it's so hard to say, I should have picked something better. Florida Podiatry Political Committee, the path of contributors that contribute to the same candidates but aren't Florida Podiatry Political Committee. And I organize them by party. So if you go here, this will take a little bit. Just scrolling through here, they seem to, their recommendations seem to go across party.
So there is a question here from Jeremy Rogers from the city of Boca Raton.
Hi, Jeremy.
He was asking if there was any surprises that you found while looking at some of the contribution data.
All the different ways NextEra spells their name. So I went to, so that's the big issue. I didn't know if we were going to have enough time to do it, but I'll show you. So let's look at the contributors. Let's look at NextEra. Let's find one version of their name. All right, so we want to do that. Let's just do this as a sanity check. Oh, I forgot to return. All right, well, that's going. So if we, NextEra, we know is a contributor and they made a contribution. So the contribution is where the address is. This was a poor choice. I should not have, this is going to take forever. All right, I'm going to kill the podiatry one because I can't say that name pack so many times.
So every time you're running a different query, does it take some time just because there's so much data that you're going through?
It takes time because I didn't put indexes in it the appropriate way. It's not supposed to be this slow. I just created this one this morning and forgot to index it appropriately. That's why it's so slow. The one that I nuked the old one and started a new one and totally forgot that step. So it's not usually this slow. Sorry, Neo4j, for giving you slow speeds. Usually it's a lot faster. It's my fault. And I also forgot to update it, but it's usually a lot faster. Also, since it's so new, I didn't have time to warm it up. But it's usually a lot faster. Okay, so let me see, point. Did I make a typo? Oh, whoops, I totally made a typo. No wonder it wasn't working.
So does this Neo4j, does it require a lot of that coding that you're doing right there? Or is there like a more kind of a basic plug and play type of model for it?
Well, I mean, it's a database, so it'll all sort of like it. You can use the same. You can say the same thing about Postgres. Or are you at? Or I don't know. It depends on. Okay, here we go. I had just made a typo. All right, so if we go to NextEra, and I'll get back to your question real quick now that I've got this going. All right, I don't think I'll be able to live code this as well as I wanted.
That's all good. Yeah, do you have an example of what it winds up looking like?
All right, cool. All right, so here's NextEra. NextEra Inc. Political Action Committee Florida. NextEra Energy PAC. NextEra, this is NextEra Energy Resources. If we collect them all like this, all right, so these are all the different ways that NextEra spells its name. And let me put the query back up. These are all distinct names. This is without this not geocoded, either because the address was not great or the little bot didn't get to it. And here's their geocoded address, and they have 3 addresses over here in this one. There's NextEra PAC, NextEra Energy Resources, NextEra Energy Inc. Political Action Committee. And if I do it this way and just have the word next, you can see even more iterations of NextEra. There's so many. And then another one that's very similar to this is GeoGroup. Oops. So GeoGroup has a lot of different ways to spell its name. So for something that's plug and play, there are some apps over in Neo4j desktop, but it's again, it's a database. It's not really an end user application. Usually you would like for example on Fitbit, you can see an application that uses it. I don't know if they still do now, but I know for a time they were using it to recommend friends to you. So I know LinkedIn uses it. You're probably already using Neo4j. You just aren't very aware of it. So I think that's it for my presentation, unless Jeremy wants to ask me something and watch me flail at the keyboard. And I can't hear anything you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look here. He hasn't posted another question yet, but if you're looking for this data on your own, it's all readily available and you could just pull reports anytime, right?
Yes, you can just go to the Department of State, and if you want the results to your screen, they give you that option. If you want to tab the limited file to do what you wish with, then you can pick that as an option. The only things that if you hit their API, you can get a lot of data. Here, you're sort of constrained by having to pick an election, but there's data that erroneously ended up outside of these, like people made a typo in the year and they ended up far in the future. You'll never find those unless you hit their API directly.
Gotcha. All right, well, thank you very much, Cristina. If you are looking to learn more, of course, go to neo4j.com and check it out. This is one of a few different data tools out there that you can pretty easily, it's my understanding. There you go.
Ta-da.
Yeah, you can pretty easily figure out on your own. And if you're just looking at learning the data field, understand a little bit more about it in practice. But thank you very much for Cristina on this to spend some time with us today. I always love talking. I actually had a job once where I did this exact thing. So it's pretty neat to see this kind of come full circle and see the different tools that are out there. Okay, this was actually one of my first startup ideas, actually, Cristina, was around political contribution data.
And you can probably, if somebody wants a nice side project, you can also get the expenditures data, and then you can find when the money goes in a circle, right? Which is one of the use cases of Neo4j is finding fraud. So that's not really something I got into.
Yeah, but that is interesting though that you can do that. So thank you very much, Cristina, and thank you for everybody who's watching this after the fact as well. And check out Neo4j and the SilverLogic. So enjoy the rest of your day, Cristina, and thanks for hopping on.
Thank you, and thank you, Jeremy, for questions.